Tragedy in Jigawa as floods claim 35 lives, thousands left homeless. Resident doctors begin 7-day warning strike over abduction of colleague. Tough times pushing Nigerians into selling properties at giveaway prices. On the foreign front, Germany donates 100,000 mpox vaccine doses to combat outbreak in Africa. Hello and welcome to the News Hour tonight on Trust Television. I am Aisha Salihu. Farmers across Jigawa State are counting their losses as flood waters continues to wipe out their entire harvest for this year's wet farming. Jigawa State Emergency Management Agency says the state is facing imminent food shortage. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin now reports.
Abdu Inwa is a subsistence farmer in Kiawa local government area of Jigawa State. He watched helplessly how his only farm was washed away by the flood. With 2 wives and 10 children, Inwa is now at the mercy of the state government or anyone willing to assist.
Here is my farmland, and I spent so many thousands of naira here. And I depend upon God and I depend upon this farming. As you are watching me, everything is cleared out away by this heavy rainfall. Even the person who has 74 to 75 years, he didn't experience this.
Residents have lost their only means of survival and resorted to seeking refuge in schools and mosques.
All this area is like a valley. So whenever rain fall to all the places like Sabongari and many other places, the water will be coming down here. And whenever it comes down here, it has no exit to go out. So that is why it will overflow all this area. Because if you look at inside here, it is about thousands of houses where some are collapsed and all the people inside have migrated from the place because of the flooding.
Jigawa State has 27 local government, out of which 17 are affected by the flood. The government says over 50,000 people are currently displaced across the affected local government areas.
The death toll now is almost 35.
Okay.
Well, you know, it keep on increasing. Even the IDPs keep on increasing because of the continued rain. Before we assumed that it is only the dam that will give us this havoc. But unfortunately, it's not the dam. Now, it's just the heavy downfall, which about 53,000 persons that are displaced, that are affected. In a household, you will see 5-10 people that are involved.
As one of the poorest states in northern Nigeria, but the most agriculturally viable in the country, Jigawa farming communities have so far lost almost all their entire harvest to flood as residents express concern over imminent food shortage this year. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News.
Still on the devastating effects of the flood, floods are rapidly engulfing riverine communities in the southern senatorial district of Adama State, displacing thousands and bringing businesses and social activities to a standstill. The State Emergency Management Agency recently issued a flood warning, urging these communities to relocate to safer areas. Gibson Swadigo reports from Yola.
The swelling River Benue has engulfed communities along its banks in Adamawa State, submerging farmlands, homes, places of worship, and businesses. This annual flooding, caused by heavy rainfall and water releases from Cameroon's Lagdo Dam, has left many areas devastated. In response, the Adama State Deputy Governor visited the affected communities in Numan and Demsa local governments, urging greater support from the federal government and humanitarian donors.
The losses are colossal. Adama State as a government might not be able to bring support to its people because they are citizens of Nigeria. We still want to use this medium to still call on the federal government to ensure that Adama State is part of the people helped because the floods are becoming overwhelming.
Concerns are growing that more communities in flood-prone areas will be affected. Residents are being urged to relocate to safer grounds to avoid potential dangers.
Please move to upper lands because the waters are still coming. Like we have seen today, what we've seen today when we're coming into Numa, with all the volume of water we have seen moving into the river, it means that in the next 1 or 2 days, the flood will affect places where it didn't affect in the last 2 days. So we plead with our people to please move to higher land so that we don't lose lives.
We are calling upon those that are responsible, including the chairman and the councillors and also the leaders of the community, that they should try and make judicious use of these items that have been given.
The meteorological agency NIMET had issued flood alerts across several states in Nigeria, including Adamawa, warning residents to take precautionary measures due to alarming forecasts. Gibson Soadugu, Trust TV News, Yola.
Also, a severe gridlock has brought traffic to a standstill on the Abuja-Kaduna highway. This follows heavy rainfall that hit the region early this morning. The downpour, which began around 6 a.m., caused significant flooding. The father of 2 children kidnapped in Jos, Plateau State, has shared details about the harrowing incident. The abduction occurred on Wednesday with the children taken by a suspected kidnapper in the area. The suspect was later apprehended by vigilant residents in the Nepa community where the children were being held for ransom. Adomusa completes the report.
The suspected kidnapper, now in custody at the anti-kidnapping unit of the Plateau State Police Command, successfully extorted a ransom of 1.5 million naira. The victims, both 4-year-old children, a baby and a girl, were held captive for 3 days before being rescued. Their father has recounted how the kidnapper first made contact with him, initiating the ransom demand.
I received a call from private number that my children that I'm looking for, they are with them. I said, okay, what do you want now? So by that time, I realized that the children are kidnapped since they are asking me for ransom. I said, okay, what do you want now? He said he wants 70 million if I want my children to be alive before tomorrow, Saturday. I said, I don't have that huge amount of money. I will not pay that huge amount of money. Then he said, okay, how much am I going to pay? I said, I will pay 1 million. He refused. He just off his phone. Then later, he still called me again. I said, so he said they decided I will pay 5 million. I said, no. Later on, we just agreed at 1.5 million naira.
A vigilante and a local resident who requested anonymity have also provided insight into how the kidnapper was apprehended.
To shi wannan bawon Allah mun kama shi ne sakamakon inda ya dauko yaron yazo ya aje wani kango ne a can bayan anguwan mu. Akwai magina da suke wucewa sai suka ji kukan yara.
He was arrested when he returned to the unoccupied building where he had left the minors. As people passed by, they heard the children crying and quickly rushed to the scene. They rescued the children and took them to a nearby house, all while keeping watch on the building. Hidden from view, they waited until the kidnapper returned. The moment he entered the building, they moved in and apprehended him.
So I come out, help them to catch him. Him too.
People approached the building armed with bamboos, shovels, and other makeshift weapons. The kidnapper initially tried to escape, but was quickly overpowered. After capturing him, we tied him up with a rope and handed him over to the vigilante office. The spokesperson of the State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, who confirmed the incident, said the suspect is being investigated. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And to labor matters in the health sector, resident doctors at the National Eye Care Center in Kaduna State have begun a one-week warning strike to protest the abduction of their colleague, Dr. Ganiyat Popola, who was kidnapped 8 months ago. The strike paralyzed activities at the center, leaving only consultants to attend to patients at the hospital. Trustee Bella Musa has more.
It's been 8 months since Dr. Ganiyat Popola was abducted from this house at the staff quarters of the National Eye Care Center Kaduna alongside her husband, who was later released. Her colleagues are still devastated months after the incident.
Dr. Ganiyat, like you said, she's a very close colleague with a very passionate mind, very kind-hearted, a mother of 5 children, and she's very passionate about her work, and that's the unfortunate part. When things like this happen to those people, you just know that if not for destiny, if there are ways, if there are other people to choose, they will be the least people. And Dr. Ganiyat is such a person because of her kind-heartedness.
Despite several efforts by the union to ensure that their colleague regains her freedom, authorities are yet to secure her release.
We've given government enough time to do whatever they can do. It's been 8 months since our colleague have been out of this hospital, and we've managed the issue based on security advice and what have you. But it's been 8 months, and the national body felt it's not something we can keep waiting anymore, and that's why measures were taken the way they were taken.
The hospital is now almost deserted as the strike begins.
Honestly, if you go around, you realize that no doctor, as I speak, no resident doctor, let me be more specific, is on ground currently to work. That is based on the directive of the national body. After our virtual meeting yesterday, we agreed to shut down every center. All residents in those centers will stop working.
The absence of Dr. Popola is greatly felt in this empty house where she was kidnapped months back. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Also, resident doctors at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital have joined the 7-day warning strike declared by the National Association of Resident Doctors. The President, Association of Resident Doctors, UPTH chapter, Dr. Dumbari Mbo, who confirmed this. On Monday, said the decision is in solidarity with their colleague, Dr. Ganiyat Popola, who was kidnapped 8 months ago in Kaduna. He said the resident doctors at UPTH have been communicated following the decision taken by the National Executive Council of NARD to proceed on the warning strike, while calling on the federal government to improve security and address other challenges across the country. Dr. Dumbari said at the expiration of the 7-day warning strike, the doctors at UPTH are ready to join a full-blown strike if their colleague is not released. A visit to some wards and departments in the hospital shows skeletal activities as a handful of doctors were seen with few patients waiting to be attended to. The president of NARD, Dr. Dele Abdullahi, declared the strike after a virtual emergency National Executive Council meeting held on Sunday, August 25, 2024. He said the warning strike would last 1 week and thereafter metamorphose into a total strike with no emergency care. And to security matters, the Sokoto State Police Command says it is not aware of the abduction of over 150 persons in Sabon Birni area a few days after the gruesome murder of Sarkin Gobir Gatawa, Isa Muhammad Bawa. Edan, Professor Bello Bada of Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, had in an interview with Radio France International Hausa on Saturday, said the kidnapping cases were recorded between the time of the late Emir's murder and last week Friday. He also attributed the banditry problem to various factors. The scholar said although this is not the first time that prominent leaders have been attacked, it was, however, the first time an Emir has been gruesomely killed. However, the spokesman for the Sokoto State Police Command, ASP Ahmed Rufai, said the police command is not aware of the abductions. According to him, the police can only confirm cases reported to them, adding this particular case has not been reported and the police have no information about it. He, however, admitted that the Sabon Birni axis and other parts of Sokoto East Senatorial District have been faced with serious security threats, with many residents under threat of attack that some find it difficult to report cases to security agencies. There was chaos at the Wuse market in Abuja on Monday afternoon, with traders closing their shops and visitors running out of the facility for safety. The development comes a day after a clash between the police and members of the proscribed Islamic movement in Nigeria, better known as Shiites, around the junction leading to the market. 2 policemen and a trader were confirmed dead during the Sunday incident, with Shiites also saying it lost an undisclosed number of people. The Monday afternoon fracas, according to sources in the market, was caused by the Market Management Agency over a plan to reinstate a sacked official as the market manager. Usman Kamba, a trader in the market, said the officials went around the market on Monday afternoon announcing the plans to appoint the said official, simply known as Musa, as the new market manager. Musa, a former task force leader of the market, was accused of instigating violence a few months ago that led to the burning of some shops after a trader was shot dead by the security officials attacked to a mobile court. Also, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, on Monday ordered a manhunt for sponsors of members of the proscribed Islamic movement in Nigeria, popularly known as Shiites, as well as those who killed 2 policemen. At least a trader was shot dead, while 2 police officers were killed in the clash between police and the group at popular Wuse Market, Abuja, while no fewer than 3 police vehicles were set also ablaze. The Commissioner of Police in the Federal Capital Territory, Benneth Igwe, while expressing his displeasure over the killing of 2 of the operatives on Sunday, vowed that the force would hunt down those involved in the dastardly act. Reacting to the incident, which happened in the nation's capital, Egbetokun, through the spokesman of the force, ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, said members of the group have murdered peace.
That members of the Shiite movement, or whatever the IMN, whatever they call themselves, decided to come out en masse to attack the policemen. You people saw them, you saw their dead bodies, and killed brutally. 2 of them are already dead. 4, including the woman police, is unconscious, all of them, with different injuries they inflicted on them. Some with different, some gun, some cutlass, some to kill policemen on uniform. So I just decided to say, for the fact they are not provoked, they did it willingly because they have agreed to attack security agencies and for no just cause. So I want to tell them and assure them that for the fact they have started this war and provoked, we are going to hunt them. We cannot leave it to go like that. We are going to hunt them, no matter where they are. I assure them very well that we are going to hunt them.
President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of new Directors General for the National Intelligence Agency and the Department of State Services. Tinubu named Ambassador Mohammed as the new Director General of the NIA, while Adeola Oluwatosin Ajayi is the new Director General of the DSS. Tinubu's spokesman, Ajurin Galale, disclosed in a statement on Monday. Ambassador Mohammed, according to the statement, has had an illustrious career in the Foreign Service since joining the NIA in 1995. He had served in various roles, culminating in his promotion to the rank of director and his subsequent appointment as the head of the Nigerian mission to Libya. The 1990 graduate of Bayero University, Kano, had served in North Korea, Pakistan, Sudan, and at the State House, Abuja, Galale said. The new DSS Director General, Adeola Ajayi, rose through the ranks to attain his current post of Assistant Director General of the service. He had, at various times, served as State Director in Bauchi, Enugu, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Kogi states. The new appointments follow the resignation of the previous NIA and DSS chiefs. President Tinubu, according to his spokesman, expects that the new security chiefs will work to reposition the two intelligence agencies for better results and charge them to bring their experience to bear in tackling the security challenges bedeviling the country through enhanced collaboration with sister agencies and in surgical alignment with the Office of the National Security Advisor. This is the news hour tonight on Trust Television. Still ahead. Tough times pushing Nigerians into selling properties at giveaway prices. We'll bring you details of this story and more after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back and thanks for staying. Let's have a quick look at some of our top stories. We told you that tragedy in Jigawa as floods claim 35 lives, thousands left homeless. You also heard resident doctors begin 7-day warning strike over abduction of colleague. With a harsh economic climate, a growing trend of distress sales is emerging, with people selling their possessions to make ends meet. This practice is gaining momentum as the cost of living soars, leaving many people with few alternatives. Neil Sampson has more.
A distress sale refers to the rushed sale of assets such as securities and property. The sales are arranged very quickly and generally at a loss to urgently cover significant debts. These FCT residents shared their thoughts on the phenomenon.
Food is hard. As at then, we used to buy module of Gary, like 150 naira, but now, the last time my wife bought, 1,200. So that's the reason why, the reason why we're going to distress sales. I have to feed my kids. My children, they have to go to school.
You want to sell off whatever you have so that you can be able to jump out of the country. And so because of the stress I'm already going through here, I want to sell whatever I have. So because of that, I will look for anyone available around. Please, can you buy this thing? And they will tell me so amount. Even if it's not what, if I can check the value of that thing with the market, I can tell that, okay, it's even more expensive. But because I need the money almost immediately, I will just let go of that thing just to have the money to leave the country.
I think it's because of the hardship. A whole lot of people can't even afford 3 square meals anymore. So the demand of selling anything to get something to put on the table is really high at the moment.
It's because of the hunger now. It's just like, was it not just, how many weeks ago we went on hunger protest? I was part of that protest.
Despite the general notion that these assets are often disposed at a loss when sold under the nomenclature of distress, these FCT residents, however, have different views on the issue.
We take advantage of the situation. We take advantage because of the corruption that are eating into the country. It eats into every sector. So every sector is taking advantage. The child that is selling, even if it is granules and if it is a distress sales, they take advantage of it.
Sometimes when you check the value of these things in the market, it's almost twice less than the amount they are selling in the market. For instance, now somebody can say a phone of about 115,000 naira. Distress will maybe sell it at 50,000 naira. That's even much less than the amount that is sold at the market.
It's a choice. Like me now, if I actually need something and I have no choice, definitely I will have to sell what I have in order to get the money and feed the bills at the moment. So I won't feel cheated because nobody is forcing me.
Deji Mike, a businessman who deals in sales of laptops, phones, and other gadgets here in Abuja, sheds more light on the distress sale business and its risks.
As a businessman, somehow it's to our advantage because it gives us a bargaining power this time. You know, when the customer comes to buy from you, they are bargaining with you. You have to sell as well as possible. So when they come to sell to us, we bargain with them, but also come with its risk. Now, it's not really to our advantage. I've had people saying that those of us that buy from them are cheating. Now, there are a lot of risks involved. One, we have to be sure you are the owner of this device, so that we don't end up selling to someone and having issues. We have to be sure that this device is intact. Then there's also the possibility of not selling immediately. Prices rise and drop. And even if it doesn't drop, new devices are coming out. So if your device is way back, the value keeps dropping. So while buying these things, we try to make sure we maintain a kind of equilibrium that won't be cheating the customer and won't be affecting our business negatively also.
With economic downturn seen as one of the major reasons for the increase in distress sales in Nigeria, Nigerians are appealing to the central government to address issues around the economy in order to ease the present economic tension. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The ongoing economic crisis is affecting millions across the nation, but for people with disabilities, the impact has been especially severe, with rising costs making even basic necessities almost unaffordable. Many are calling on the government for immediate support.
As the economic crisis deepens, individuals with disabilities are finding it increasingly difficult to survive. Their calls for government intervention are growing louder as they seek relief from the worsening conditions that threaten their well-being. At the annual National Handicap Youth Day rally, speakers emphasized the importance of employing qualified persons with disabilities in various organizations. Additionally, they called on the government to establish creativity centers, including health facilities, sports centers, and hostels specifically designed to support individuals with disabilities. These measures, they argued, are essential to prevent unemployment and improve the quality of life for people with disabilities.
No road has been created in Nigeria with persons with disability in mind. No hospital, no private, no social infrastructure has been created. So we need a person with disability as either how do I put it? Either a commission or through ministry.
Whereas there are some people who are seriously in need, persons with disabilities made up of the visually impaired, the hearing and speaking impaired, the mentally retarded, the physically challenged, and even the sick among them. You know, nothing like that was extended to this sector, which is very, very appalling.
With the economic downturn putting immense pressure on those who are already marginalized, persons with disabilities are now urging the government to step in and provide the necessary support to help them navigate this difficult time. Finding something to eat has become a daily struggle. I have been living with a disability since I fell ill at the age of 2. I now face the harsh reality of rising prices and dwindling resources. The cost of basic necessities like food has skyrocketed, and with limited income, I am left wondering how to afford my next meal. In a country where suffering is widespread, my situation reflects the larger issue of poverty and economic hardship. I am appealing to the government to provide me with capital to start a business. I believe that with the right support, I can return to the north, start my life venture, and regain control of my life.
This year is making 20 years now. We don't see anything again. But all my children, the problem I'm facing now, to take care of my children, even accommodation, to feeding my family, that's the problem I'm facing now.
With the economic crisis showing no signs of easing, the voices of people with disabilities are growing louder as they are calling for immediate government intervention to ensure they can survive and thrive in a challenging world. Aishat Abdullah, Trust TV Lagos.
Farmers in Benue State have returned to their farms following the resumption of rainfall in the state. With the return, the era of lamentation is over as the pain of crops dying due to lack of rainfall is also over. Trust TV's Jimmy Azande reports that the farmers are all having a sigh of relief with the return of the rain. Report.
For about a week now, activities have resumed on the farmlands, with farmers harvesting, planting, or applying pesticides and herbicides on their crops. The farmers could not hide their feelings when the Trust TV visited some farms to assess the situation.
We in Benue State, we have challenge of rain. If you can see, all our farm produce are very disappointed because you can see the corn has been already dry up because of the rain challenge.
3 weeks ago.
The situation was that bad, but we thank God the rains are here again. We are hoping to catch up with the rest of the season.
All
the farmers said the poor downpour in this year has negatively affected some farmers who are already counting losses, though with the hope that if the downpour continues, the yields will improve. If the rains continue like this, we will harvest bountifully. But if not, we are afraid of the consequences of another drought. We pray for more rains. This is our only source of income, farming. Without rain, we are finished. We pray that the rains continue. The Benue State Ministry of Agriculture said it has provided the required tools for farmers in the state and is encouraging dry season farming to augment or make up for the inconsistent rainfall this year. With the current economic climate, there is an unprecedented number of residents engaging the soil to put food on their table. It is hoped that the rains will continue for the farmers to reap the fruits of their labor. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The need for the federal government to cultivate a supportive environment that encourages business expansion and strengthens the private sector within Nigeria's agricultural industry has been stressed. Speaking to journalists in Abuja, a stakeholder in the agri-value chain, Oluwasegun Alabi, highlighted the critical role of engaging seasoned experts with a deep understanding of the field to provide strategic guidance for tackling food security issues. Additionally, he revealed his agency's ambitious plan to empower 50,000 Nigerian youth and farmers by providing them with 50,000 hectares of land to generate employment and enhance rural communities. The entrepreneur, though not in support of the policy to make agricultural science an option in primary and secondary school curricula, noted that Nigeria loses more than 1.5 billion naira to pineapple importation annually.
From our calculation, the pineapple that enters Nigeria per day is more than 50 million naira that we import every day. So you can do that calculation in 30 days and know how much we are losing. I just made mention that we have at least like 3 countries have reached out to us to export pineapple fruit to them. But we cannot. That is a loss. Because when you have ability to do something and you are not doing it, you are losing. So if Nigeria can come up and we are able to achieve this mind-blowing goal, it's going to be a plus to Nigeria because we are going to be generating forex. There's a lot of things that you can achieve from pineapple. And let me educate us. The back of pineapple, the cloth you are wearing, you can make cloth from the back of pineapple. You can produce fuel from pineapple that can power your cars. And we have all of these things in pipeline. That if this vision is being achieved, it's going to take Nigeria far in the global marketplace.
Experts have identified lack of ownership and control by benefiting communities as one of the major problems hindering the growth of Great Green Wall project in Nigeria. The project under the National Agency for the Great Green Wall is at the forefront of combating desertification and land degradation in line with the United Nations Convention on Combating Desertification. However, with climate change and its attendant effect, especially in northern Nigeria where floods are wreaking havoc, experts see the agency as being potentially capable of nipping some of these disasters in the bud by reducing apparent manifestation of poverty and building the resilience of the people against the phenomena of climate change. Trustee Adama completes the report.
The mission of the Great Green Wall project is to empower communities to combat land degradation, enhance food security, and build resilience to climate change through sustainable interventions and education. The target is that by 2025, ecosystems are resilient to climate change and continue to provide essential services that will contribute to human welfare and poverty eradication. According to State Field Officer, the agency is still on course in its task of dealing with environmental issues through diverse ways.
On curtailing desertification, the agency was able to distribute a cylinder which will curtail the activity of felling down of necessary trees. Anyhow, you'll see people producing charcoal, going to cutting trees for timber and other activities. So the agency is really trying to see that all these activities are being curtailed by providing an alternative means to all the affected communities.
Despite the agency's clear-cut mandate, many feel there is slow progress in making Nigerians feel its impact.
Certain activities that we engage them so that we divert their attention from the indiscriminate cutting of trees. Believe me, through that intervention and also the sensitization of the community in form of community engagement, will make a very significant impact in terms of reducing the impact and also curtailing the effect of desertification.
In Niger, we have what we call the half moon initiative. These are indigenous adaptive indigenous knowledge that are being used as climate adaptive mechanism. We too Nigerians have to go down to the communities and identify our indigenous knowledge. Then we integrate them into our national climate adaptation response so that the people know that yes, this is our mechanism and they are not capital intensive. You don't have to spend so much money.
They, however, urge communities to always support government's environmental policies to ensure that they succeed through collaborative efforts. Adama, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities and the federal government have postponed a meeting earlier scheduled for Monday to address all unresolved matters obstructing the development of Nigerian universities. The president of ASU, Emmanuel Shodeke, told newsmen on Monday that the meeting will no longer be held as earlier announced by the Minister of Education, Tahir Maman. Although no reason was given for the postponement, the meeting is now expected to be held on Wednesday, August 28. ASU, a few days ago, issued a 21-day notice of strike to the federal government over several unresolved issues, notably Emergency Revitalization Fund of Public Universities, payment of outstanding earned academic allowances, and release of withheld salaries, promotion arrears, and third-party deductions from its members. The other issues include stoppage of illegal recruitments, proliferation of public universities and abuse of universities laws, removal of universities from the Treasury single account, as well as the new IPPIS to herald the autonomy of universities. And to judicial matters, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has overturned the judgment of a federal high court that ordered the People's Democratic Party to allow the participation of 381 ad hoc delegates in its February 2022 primary election in Edo State. The primary election produced Asue Ighodalo as the candidate of the party in the September 21, 2024 governorship election in the state. A three-man panel of the appellate court set aside the judgment of Justice Inyang Ekwo, delivered on the 4th of July 2024, on the grounds that the trial court lacked jurisdiction to entertain the suit of the aggrieved delegates in the first place, having lacked the necessary legal rights to initiate the suit. In a unanimous decision, the court held that it cannot interfere with how the PDP selects its candidate for the September 21 governorship election in Edo State. You're still watching the news hour tonight on Trust Television. We'll go on a break now. Welcome back. It's time now for the business news with Chiamaka and Nendu.
And this is the business news segment. My name is Chiamaka Nendu, and we begin with news coming from the National Bureau of Statistics as Nigeria's gross domestic product experienced the year-on-year growth of 3.19% in real term during the second quarter of 2024. The GDP growth rate surpassed the 2.51% recorded in the second quarter of 2023 and the 2.98% growth seen in the first quarter of 2024, and the GDP performance in the second quarter was primarily driven by the services sector, which grew by 3.79% and contributed 58.76% to the total GDP. Moving away from that now to news coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria, as the CBN has said that it has adjusted the standing lending facility and standing deposit facility for authorized banks, which has become effective today. Recall that at the 296 Monetary Policy Committee meeting, the rates were adjusted to 31.75%, while the SDF was adjusted to 25.75%. And in a circular dated the 26th of August and signed by the Director of Financial Markets Department, Omolola Duke, set the SDF for commercial and merchant banks at 25.75% for deposits up to 3 billion naira. And they serve as avenues to invest surplus funds overnight and to square up whatever the system is short of at the end of each business day. And right about now, let us see how the market ended Monday's trading, where the bulls dominated the market with the All-Share Index up by 0.06% at 96,037.28, and the market capitalization ending at 55.1 trillion naira. The volume of trade hits 390.512 billion, while the value of trade hits 3.884 billion naira. We also did see 9,242 deals exchange hands on the floor of the exchange. And now to the top gainers, with Itana ending the day up by 10% and a combo oil up by 9.99%. And our BT Briscoe also ended in the gainers chart up by 9.96%. And now to the losers from Monday's trading, with Transcorp Power down by 9.99%, and Abi BDS also ended the day in the bearish and down by 9.69%, and United Capital ended also in the losing streak, down by 7.09%. And now to the top trades and market movers, with Veritas Capital Assurance topping that chart at 67.3 million shares, followed by J. Paul Gold and Ventures at 23.9 million shares, and FCMB Group followed closely at 20.5 million shares. Away from that now, let us take a look at how other major markets across the world fared during Monday's trading. And in the commodities market, oil prices rose on Monday, and this is after Israel's Air Force struck targets in Lebanon with over 100 fighter jets before the Iran-backed group fired more than 320 rockets into Israel. Well, that's it for the business news segment. My name is Chiamaka Enendu. Thank you for watching.
And to developments on the international scene, Germany will donate 100,000 Mpox vaccine doses from its military stocks to help contain the outbreak on the African continent in the short term, as well as provide help to the affected countries. A government spokesperson who disclosed this on Monday also said the government will provide the World Health Organization with flexible financial resources via various instruments to combat Mpox and also support its partners in Africa through the Gavi Vaccination Alliance. Germany has around 117,000 doses of Jynneos, which is being stockpiled by the German army after Berlin procured it in 2022. The World Health Organization has declared Mpox as a global public health emergency after an outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo spread to neighboring countries, and the new form of the virus, Clade 1b, triggered concerns about the spread of transmission. A foreign ministry spokesperson said the government was looking at the quickest way to get the vaccines to the affected countries, primarily the Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as Burundi and neighboring countries in East Africa. It's time now for the sports news with Emmanuel Fashemi.
Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak has hailed the superlative rise of Nigeria's para-badminton sensation Eniola Bolaji Mariam to second place in the world. The Kwara-born athlete was recently ranked number 2 in the world by the global body of the game. In an ex-post on Sunday, Eniola dedicated the feat to Governor Abdulrazak and Nigerians. The governor attributed Eniola's rise to hard work, grit, consistency, and humility in victory. While congratulating her coaches and supporters, Governor Abdulrazak wished Eniola greater wins at the upcoming Paris 2024 Paralympic Games and throughout her promising career. The Chief Operating Officer of the Nigerian Premier Football League, NPFL, Davidson Owumi, says the seminar organized for clubs, chief security officers, and chairmen of supporters club will bring peace and order to match venues. The NPFL board held a seminar in Nasarawa State to sensitize clubs, chief security officers, and chairmen of supporters club ahead of the upcoming season. The seminar is to help curb incidents of violence and hooliganism before, during, and after domestic league matches. According to Owumi, the seminar is aimed at educating chief security officers and supporters club chairmen who are saddled with the responsibilities of maintaining peace and order at match venues. Owumi added that the seminar will set a positive trajectory for the league going forward. The new NPFL season will commence on Saturday, August 31st, 2024 between Rangers International and Academy Warriors. And that is sports. I am Emmanuel Fashimi.
And to a sad development, Vice President Kashim Shettima has joined the Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum and other dignitaries, associates and family members in attending the funeral of Ahmed Ali Ahmed, Zulum's late Commissioner for Finance and Economic Development, on Monday in Maiduguri. The funeral prayer was led by the Chief Imam of Borno, Imam Laisu Ibrahim. Ahmed died in his sleep on Monday at his residence in Maiduguri at the age of 42, leaving behind 2 children, a wife, an aged mother, and many brothers and sisters. Until his death, he was Borno's Commissioner for Finance and Economic Development. He served with the Zenith Bank PLC for over 17 years, rising to the position of Deputy Manager before joining politics. And that's about the size of our package tonight. Do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good night.